Happy Sunday, everybody. I am Dr. D from Food Alchemy Networks. I know it's been a minute. Did a show on women coloring outside the lines last week, and it was a really interesting show to say the least. So I am back to talk to you about some things seen and unseen, and get your opinion and let you weigh in about the situation that it's happening of new because we've been making so many different, as I was saying on the radio, what our normal is now a new normal. Wearing face mask is the new normal. Getting your temperature checked with a thermometer and not realizing the effects that it does have on your body on a long term range. Realizing washing your hands with these alcohol sand hand sanitizers, which opens your skins and your pores and receptible to more diseases. Things that are becoming the normal of opening ourselves to other things that we encounter is not always good. Sometimes it's the good new normal of accepting things of watching out for one another. That's a good thing. I think that is beautiful, watching out, caring, and understanding, and coming together as not only as an individual, but as a community, as a neighbor, as someone of a fellow being. That is a good normal to have, to understand, to basically not to separate, but more coming together because we have enough out here in the hemisphere to separate us from the things that we do on a daily basis. Not only by religions, there's a vast majority of them that we can be judgmental about and take judgment against. And then there's the class of which we A, B, and C that we might reside in. Meaning, some people have money, some people don't have money, some people are considered poor, but that is a state of mind, I believe, because you could actually live in a house and really be homeless because a house is just a house, but a home is something that you build, something that is nourishing, something that gives back, something that you build upon. That's what I believe a home is. A house, homeless, so that term is used so much. So are you house wealthy or you're property wealthy? And that is another way that we can think about it. Like, I was talking to a friend about property, and we were talking about, when you have property, um, does that really make you really in the upper echelon if you have property? If you pay taxes in United States, you're gonna have to pay taxes on your house, your land, every time. If you have HOA fees, which I had someone show me a video of another person having a house is paid off, they've been there for 40 years. HOA decided they didn't like something. Guess what? The HOA decided to kick them out and put their property out on the line, out on out in front of the house. But they got an evicted by HOA. And to me, I'm baffled how the HOA has more power than you paying your taxes, paying your property off, that they can come in and decide that they want you out, take your house, your land, and that's it. To me, I am just like maybe bamboozled by the illusion that when you buy a home, you actually have a home, that you don't pay taxes, but you pay taxes on it. Even when you leave it to your children, they pay taxes on it. There is no such thing of being in United States and not paying taxes on property that you supposedly own. And it wasn't until the gentleman by the name of John Sally that said, excuse me, that said, you're basically leasing it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. When you go into a store, Strawbridge's, Macy's, um, Target, trying to think about some other stores, or Sprouts or Whole Foods. When you go and buy an item, you pay taxes on that item one time and one time only. You think about it and you walk away with it. Now that's um, close to appliances. You pay taxes on it that one time. You're not paying taxes on it as long as you have the item. So help me understand how we're still paying taxes. I mean, these are just some of the things I'm thinking about. Like, how do you get out of that matrix? How do you understand this matrix of actually owning and not having to pay taxes? So some people have gone so far to say to look for other countries and see. Milan was one. There's different countries out there that once you buy this property, you pay the taxes the one time, it's over, finished, it's done. Dubai, I believe, is the same way. Once you buy property, you pay the taxes, that is it. It's no more taxes. So there's a good source of out there, but it seems that it's more geared so going outside of United States versus in United States. Do you know, maybe you know something I don't. Do you know a state, once you pay taxes on that property, that no matter what or what you do, you never ever have to pay taxes again? Um, I would love for you to share with me. But that being, my thought of the day of Sunday, like, we live in this new normal, or this programmed way of thinking, that how do you get out of thinking outside the box? What do you do? Because I basically learned for myself, um, basically turning the television off, even so much turning TikTok off, um, Facebook off, Instagram, like getting rid of all these things that we use on a daily basis that affect it, and we don't even think that really affects our mind and our thinking. And what I did, living in Merida, what it taught me is actually getting out every day, going for a walk, and exposing myself into nature. And I noticed that in Merida, where I lived at in Caquel, I had a lot of birds were talking, and I opened my windows every day, so I was getting fresh air. I'm not breathing in the gases from the paint and the furniture and everything. It's the house actually got to breathe, which is different, a different thought. But also taking a walk to my local park and actually sitting on a bench and listening to the sounds of nature, sitting under a tree and watching the branches and the breeze and things like that, and being part of nature, um, investing in nature, meaning I'm breathing the air around me and surrounding myself, where I'm not hearing a whole bunch of noise pollution, where there's the radio in the background. So when you used to go outside the house, you used to leave your cell phone at the house. You didn't take your cell phone with you wherever you went, where you were connected all the time. Where when you got home, you got your messages, and that's what a voicemail was used for. If you were not available, and that's okay. Why is it this reason to be connected to electronics so much, of being on call for everyone and everywhere? Now we use our phones to do GPS, to get from one place to another. Some of our children don't even know how to read a map. Some even don't know west, south, east, north, or the terrain, or even know how to read a map, what a terrain look like, what forests look like, what the park look like. Like they have gotten out of how to read a map of giving directions unless they're on a GPS system. There was years ago, there was no such GPS system. We had to go and get a book, and you would actually maybe go to AAA where you would buy a map and it would tell you the different routes. And the different routes would tell you different things that were going on. Now, the route that was really famous going from the east to the west was Route 66. So you would stop off in these little towns on Route 66 and see different things and stop at hotels. So, it differentiate different things that you can see where you don't see any now. Also, getting on the train. We have forgotten what it's like to get on a train. It's so cost effective. They have done away. Unfortunately, Mexico used to have a great train system, and they've cut the train down. They're in the inference of bringing that back to Mexico. Like I said, that's just a thought. They're trying to bring it back. So hopefully we'll see that. But stay tuned. You never know. That a lot of people are trying to get away from all this pollution from the lights and the noise and the people, and actually just have it quiet. Going into the mountains and really realizing what the mountains look like and what the light look like and what the air feels and breathes like going to the beach. These are things, maybe I'm going to start, of things that I grew up with. It was, you can tell it was the summertime. I'm from Philadelphia, because we would go to Atlantic City to the boardwalk and walk on the boardwalk and walk on the beach and go to the ocean and see these different things. Summertime for us was, um, my mom, when we go visit my Aunt Dee, my Aunt Alice, and my troop of those beings in my family, and it was like a ride, like going from Philadelphia to New Jersey and seeing the family where they got together, and it's always around food. If you know my people, we're about food, always about food. So we get in the car, and it was a treat to go to maybe Roy Rogers, because they had horsey sauce, and you would get the horsey burger. Or back then they had White Castle. I believe they have it in White Castle, and you would get these little tiny burgers that had cheese and onions on it, and it was toasted, and you got them in these little cardboards, and it was White Castle. So and they gave gas, but you would love them, love them, love them, and you would eat them. So these are things we take for granted as a road trip, that you would go, you look forward to. For me, I'm realizing the bigger pleasure of my childhood was around food. We always got together around food, where my grandmother made the best carrot cake. My grandmother made the best 7 Up cake. My grandmother would sit there and, just make some good food. She made chitlins and hog maws and collard greens and fried chicken and mashed potatoes and potato salad and all these things. And my Aunt Alice, she would fry fish on Friday. So you have a fish fry going on, and you always got greens. Everywhere you go, you're always gonna have greens. Greens was a every Sunday meal. Every Sunday we had greens. And then when it came to the holidays, of course, it was a big old pot. And the best part was the pot liquor at the bottom of cooking down. Some people cooked it with smoked hog maws. Some people cooked it with smoked turkey. Well, my Aunt Dee, my mom's baby sister, now she used to cook, and evidently she had high blood pressure, didn't know it as a kid. Her meals became a little bit more extravagant, a little bit different. Uh, she was good at the microwave. as, as well as cooking. She had the latest gadgets. My aunt Dee did. She always had the latest gadgets. So I grew up eating mushrooms, spinach, cheese, mushrooms, where she would cut the mushrooms up and we would eat that, and that would be nothing. And then she introduced me to Swedish corn. And then that was like, wow, that was a phenomenon that she got out of a cookbook. And then on holidays, my aunt would actually make red snappers, stuffed red snapper. That was something different. And it was a different kind of stuffing that was in this red snapper fish. So it was always something different because it was just the two of us. She didn't make turkey. My aunt made chicken. So that's what she would do. She wouldn't make a turkey because turkey was too big for just the two of us. And we always didn't always eat there. We always, like I said, go over my Aunt Alice's house, my auntie's house. It was always somebody's house we're, going over. And my aunties would have the best spread. They have German chocolate cake. They have coconut cake with pineapple in the middle. They would have sweet potato pone or sweet potato pie. My auntie would make red velvet cake with the cream cheese frosting. So, and then Aunt Jet. And the thing is, we had generations of us. Generations. My Aunt Jet lived up on the third floor. Um, on the second floor, no, on the fourth floor, my Aunt Jet lived. On the third floor, my Aunt Alice lived. And then on the second floor, my auntie lived. And they all lived in this big house in New Jersey for generations and generations and generations, where we all grew up together. We all play, and we play in the basement or play outside in the yard. So that was the norm for me, outside playing, outside on the streets. You'd be outside playing in the streets until it get dark. Sometimes we wanted to play after it got dark, but you knew when that light come on that you better be back in your house, in front of your house, or in getting ready to go to bed. And back then, grandparents watch maybe Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. So you kind of knew when they watched the news. That's when they started putting the news on. It used to be 6 o'clock in the morning. Then they had news at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Then they started having 5 o'clock news. So it used to be five, then it got 12. Like now news was on like constantly. So you're always bombarded with all this information and all the wrongdoings that's going on in the earth. And sometimes they would throw in a little happy thing of maybe a store opening up or something. So these are the things that went on and you gravitated to. But you learned, you played together with your friends and family, and you grew up with them. And your parents' children, you grew up like everybody knew everybody. You grew up and they went to school, their children went to school, their great grandchildren went to school. So it was such a community that I grew up in. A little, like I said, it was in Philadelphia, but on the outskirts called Manayunk and Mount Airy and Cherry Hill and stuff like that. I grew up in those areas and I didn't realize they were the suburbs. I thought, like I shared with you, I thought everybody owned a home. I didn't know people lived in apartments. I didn't know that they actually exist. So for me, that was different growing up. That was a culture shock to me growing up and actually renting out my first apartment. It was very shocking. Um, my mom, even though she separated, we lived in a house. We went from one house to another house and another house. And then I think, yeah, I got older, introduced to apartment. And like I said, it was a really culture shock to understand that there was someone living under you. Um, Nosy neighbors, or not so nosy neighbors. So this is the kind of lifestyle. So this is why I think that for me, food is very important, community's important, and I'm trying to figure out where we have lost our connection of one of another, of connecting, and why, my question is, why are we not building? Why are we, it seems like we're building, or why does it seem like we're so quick to knock each other down and not come to support, where you see other people, other races will support each other even if they're wrong. You have Chinatown, you have Japantown, you have Koreatown, you have Little Italy, you have Little Havana, you got Little Mexico. You got all these little groups of people. They have their banks, they have their banks in their community. We used to have that and then it gets destroyed, but how many of our are supporting each other when the backs are down and everything? Why are we not supporting each other in a much more wholesome, instead of going against because the grain, it's like ingrained in us because society say this is wrong, I'm going to go against that, not because okay, I'm gonna support them, or let me help this brother out and give, let's find out the clarity, because you know how we are portrayed in society of misinformation. Things are cut out of what is being said and only put in what they want to be said. But if another dynamic does that to us, it's okay. We're supposed to take the slap on the chin and say it's okay and it's all right. How come not much of a big issue is being pushed for these things that are going on? I would like to know, why is that? Why is the noise not being heard? Why is people not making a big thing about it? Why is there's more support to be against than it is to support when it is something? Let's find out the truth of something and get the information instead of being, oh, okay, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Serena's taken a Serena Williams have taken a lot of slack and a lot of bullying, a lot of torment, her family, about what she does, that she's not black enough, she's not this, she's not pretty, and she's a beautiful woman. We all come in different different beauties that she's made feel less than, and she's in there, she's fighting the fight. Why is that? Why is that allowed? Why is when someone, she has to apologize, break down and bend and fold and bow down, but if someone does something to her, just a little, oh, I'm so sorry, a little something, and it's okay, and they're not being punished. That is something I know people talking about Kanye and yay, yes, and this stuff, but really, why is it being put out there like that? And when you see this, you always knows that there is a backline understory. Why are we not concentrated on that? Let's support each other instead of hurting each other. And that's the thing I say. We as women, as mothers, as nurturers, as aunts, as cousins, as sisters, as family members, need to support our individual and give more support. That's why they can come in. I'm giving you an answer. Why they can come into the community and do what they want, because they have been given the right of way. They can come in and say and destroy and take the women that were kidnapped in Kentucky. Give you that. How many people have really spoke on that? Women were kidnapped in Kentucky, had been done, and it was an undercover cop detective that was in there doing this. And no, and the gentleman brought it to set, and they said it was a lie, and it wasn't a lie, but it was swept under the rug. How many people are still focusing on it? How many people are really going to battle about it? How many people are seeing these things that are going in our community and and support? Where's the support? Where's that? It's like another issue that comes on. Oh, women's rights. Oh, you got your rights, and you just should be happy for this. It's a This is my rant for the Sunday. Why is that okay? The Holocaust. The Holocaust happened. Oh my gosh, the Jewish people. Oh my gosh, they've suffered so much. Oh my gosh. Yes, they have suffered so much. And then they say, everybody's been in slavery all the time. BS. We're constantly under slavery. We're constantly under attack. We're constantly, no matter what you do, that my child that I have can't walk down the street as a male because of his size. He's got to got to humble down and keep his head down and not speak his mind. Because if he does, he might not get a job, or he's threatening. he's threatening to the police, that it makes it virtually impossible. That's how we're supposed to be. Asymmetric. If you're gay and you're black, you're straight, oh, you're the best. Because I don't feel you're a threat. As a woman, oh, you're so masculine. Why is that? Because I'm in my masculine energy, I'm in my feminine and masculine. That should not be a problem. But for a lot, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue, and they're going to make it as such because that is so we don't realize we're beautiful beings. We need to support each other. Go in. I got your back. You got my back. When there is a thing, it needs to be more. The NACPP or whatever. I don't think they were really for them. You need to figure out how they was organized, why they was organized, and what was going on. Understanding what the right movements was really about. Do we really understand it and where it was going? Do we understand that these people that their lives have been taken out from our society and the impact they have on our community at large? And the things that the struggle or which it was really about. Are we just looking at, see, they give us superficial stuff to look at. It's a gang war. No, it's more to it. The Bloods and the Crips, you're fighting against each other in the property, but it's a lot more to it. We're not understanding the full picture of what is going on in this world. For us, a person, I'm a woman of color. I've traveled. I've seen some things. I experienced things. I've shared about, the color things. I haven't experienced as much as a lot of people. I've seen, I've heard. I can't give you firsthand a lot of situations, but I can tell you what I see. And it wasn't like I said until my son told me, Mom, if I speak up my mind, I'm intimidating. I don't like the size I am. I don't like that I'm a man of 6 feet. I don't like that I have a deep voice. Why? Because it's something to be feared of in this country. It's something as a male of color, if you have a deep voice, you have tall, and you're intimidating, that they want to emasculate and them not be strong. Why is that? And why is that okay? Why are we allowing that? What is right about that? That they don't have the freedom to be themselves because we make you feel scared? Well, get your panties out of a bunch. Get yourself together. Um, we're competing. Why are we competing against each other when the races are no better from anybody else towards us? Why are we not supporting each other more and helping each other more? Where can we get together? Where can we not feel like we're violated? Where can we show the love? Like when you see the love from other different people, why do we gotta be what Phil Valentine would say, call us some women are ninnies. And why do we got to go to that extreme? Why not take that sister or that brother to the side and talk to them and help them understand that they're doing more damage in the community than they are toward, for the community? They're making a bigger ruckus than that new. Why not talk to them? Why not understand? Why not give them the leverage it is? As long as they're doing right, is it's all for the other thing they're promoting. They're good. It's a distraction. How come we can be easily distracted? It's almost like a cat and catnip. Oh, got cat, here it is, here it is. Okay, that's a distraction. So while they're doing this, they're doing the underhanded stuff. That's how they do with the food. That's how they do with a lot of stuff. And we don't look behind everything that's going on. We don't look at why they're fighting Haiti. What's going on in Haiti? Do anybody even know or have a clue what's going on in Haiti? How Haiti has been fighting for years and years? Do you understand what's going on in Africa and the fight that they fight on years and years? Why are we made to feel disgusted when we think of Africa? Why are we made to think of these brown countries? Why we feel disgusted of these under countries? There's so much that is going on that it is like pivotal, but we don't understand the points that we can make and the power we do, not only with our money, but with our voices and actually coming together and standing and saying, you know what, I'm not going to support. You know what, this is a company, but not just supporting, company. I went ahead and I was looking at this company. It was an internet company. And because it was a black company, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get behind it. That's good. That's good. But then you find out there's some shady dealings behind it. That is why a lot of people don't go to some of the black stores. I remember growing up. Well, you know what? If you go to a black-owned store, you're gonna pay like 15 times the prices. You ever ask why you have to pay those prices? It's because they have to take out more insurance on their building. They're given a higher rate for their rent. The product they buy is like 10 times that amount than anybody else, if it was, that they would be able to get. These are the things that we don't think about. So I'm just giving you some points, some food for thought. This is my rant for Sunday. I hope it helps someone. I hope that it brings some clarity, some things. So I'll see you next time. I am Dr. D, and this is Food Alchemy Network, and it's been beautiful. I hope this message is received with love and wisdom.